show, a place where visionary leaders build a life and business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, visionary leaders, welcome back to another show. Welcome back to the Life School Masterclass show. Today I'm with you with another beautiful guest, an amazing conversation. Today we're going to talk about how to prepare for a divorce on purpose. That's definitely not a fun transition. So if there's those of you that are going through this, I am sure you'll appreciate what Nanette Murphy is going to share with us regarding this area, and can't wait to introduce her to you as well. So Nanette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm always excited to spread my message.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you and can't wait to really learn from you around this very important topic, I feel like. And it's something that not everyone always has a roadmap or a framework on how to navigate when this actually happens. So
Right.
before we dive into the topic, Nanette, I would like for you to share a little bit around some of the most meaningful moments in your journey that led you to the work that you're doing now.
Oh, wow. My most meaningful moments, there's a few of them. In 2020 is when I kind of decided to focus on learning because, as you know, we all know the world had literally shut down, and I decided about 2 weeks in that I didn't want to Netflix and banana bread my way through all of all of this. So I started with a simple class called through the Yale University, a free class called The Science of Wellbeing. And I really always start my story of this journey there because I was introduced to Mind Valley, that platform where I took quests, they call them. They're not classes, they're quests, where I studied, self-reflection and speaking and meditation. And it was really there that I discovered that my purpose in life, my next purpose, was to be a life coach. And then from there, I certified to be a health coach. And then I actually had my own life coach. And the other pivotal moment was when she encouraged me to write my first book. And it's my story, Shattered Dreams and New Beginnings. And it's my story, it's my journey of heartbreak, healing, and ultimately growth. And I wrote it to really inspire other people to share my story. It's not always easy to share your story, but I wanted specifically women because, I'm a woman who divorced at almost 50, 20 some years of marriage. And really to inspire them to go, the future is fearful. You can be afraid. But once you really stop and pause for a moment, it's really a new beginning. And then you have many opportunities ahead of you. And then from there, I discovered there was such a thing as divorce coaching. I just spoke with someone and I wished I'd have known that there was such a thing, because I would have hired one in an instant. But I believe that I've been on this journey to be exactly where I am here today, and wanting to help women, specifically women divorcing later in life. Because when you're reaching 50 and you realize that your life has changed and you go, now what do I do? I really want to help them, number one, prepare, but also make them aware that there's so much potential ahead of them. The world has just opened up. So that's how I got here.
Wow, I love that. What a journey. And it's you now serving other women with a solution to a problem that you just wish somebody would have probably helped you in that phase and stage of life that you were going through. That person transitioned with it as well. So, yeah, I mean, there's always a reason why we choose the work, or our work chooses us, and it
I
becomes
believe,
a
yes.
fun
Yeah.
way, right?
Yeah.
So,
It chose me for sure.
I always love to hear that journey of kind of how did you get here, because it gives people context around, you know, why are you passionate about the work you do, and how is it that you have that experience so that you could share that with others as well. So
Right. Right.
awesome. Let's dive into the topic. So, Nanette, what do you think we need to know as we navigate? How do we prepare for a divorce?
Uh,
We start.
so the first thing, and I always start off with most people, the majority of the population, if they are going to divorce, um, they immediately feel like they have to hire a lawyer right away. And I've learned, and I'm talking to people and research. Well, number one, truly, a divorce coach is the first person that you should talk to, because we can help you prepare. And part of that preparation is hiring the right professionals. It's hiring your team. I call it your posse, the people that you need in your corner that can help you, help guide you. Because number one, divorce is not, it's an emotional journey. It's not just a legal battle. And with a divorce coach, for me, when I'm coaching women, I really try to help them focus on themselves first, because it's an emotional journey. You really have to, self-care is really imperative. But then your next hire, I believe, is your financial advisor. And part of the preparation is getting that, is is knowing how are you going to move into this transition into the next portion of your life. And for women, finances are generally the biggest concern, the biggest fear, next to their children. But when you're divorcing later in life, you're generally either an empty nester or about to be an empty nester. So, you know, it's all up to you now. So I want to help them prepare, I say, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And part of that is so that you can go on this journey and do all the things that you have to do. But you also, you don't know what you don't know. And when you just jump into it, and what I've also learned is that a lot of attorneys, they don't want to help you, like they don't want to guide you on that emotional journey. That's not their job. They're taking care of all the legal aspects. And yeah,
Yeah, so true. I mean, at each phase and stage of life, you need different things, and I could just imagine. I mean, I could just imagine. I haven't gone through it personally, and
if you don't,
hopefully not.
yeah,
But I could just imagine with any new transition in life, it's a scary process, and it's
it
very
is.
emotional, and a lot of times you make emotional decisions. So having someone in your backbone, like you just said, a team of, like someone that can mentor you through some of the things that you will be going through,
Right.
just gives you that certainty, gives you that ease, and gives you that awareness that the decisions you're making are the right next steps for you to
Correct.
navigate this transition in your life. I could just imagine that.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what is your perspective on that? What have you seen with clients you've also helped?
Well, unfortunately, like you said, it's a very emotional journey. Women, and there's a percentage that like they consider and think about for 2 years. So now I'm trying to advocate that in those 2 years, you can do a lot of preparing, you know, gathering financial information, because, let's face it, it's, of course you want your family unit to stay together, but that next phase, this is you. You have to know how, what is your financial means? How much is it going to cost you to survive each month? Do you need a job? Do you not need a job? So, do you want your house? Do you not want your house? So there's so many things that you have to consider, all while processing the fact that your marriage is ending. and the emotions that kind of can hijack you. And also, sometimes they may think that there's a specific decision that they need to make now, when they can really, think about that later. But I've talked to women where, I suggest to them, don't make any rash decisions. Let's try to get organized. Let's really understand where you're at. And then there's a knee-jerk reaction, and they move out, or they don't accept you know, what their husband wants to give them. Sometimes they should, and sometimes they shouldn't accept what they're offering, because I've heard horror stories on both sides. But
Mhm.
it's really just, they have to be aware that every decision they make is going to affect their future. So you need to make the decisions at the right time, in the right order, and not listen to all the noise. There's always people that are wanting to give you information, and you should do this and you should do that. When sitting down one-on-one with a coach can really help them put things in perspective. Sitting down with their financial advisor can help them understand that, oh goodness, I am entitled to this. Oh, I can get that. Because unfortunately, what I've found is that a lot of men like to tell their wives that, number one, they can't survive without them. They're not going to get anything. I'm going
Mm.
to do this. When you have to know the laws of your state, but most states are 50-50. Most states, there's laws. And unfortunately, a lot of women stay out of fear of not being able to.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because obviously someone telling you that is wants to keep you under their control for whatever reason. But it almost feels like to me, Nanette, that they have to almost like recreate and draw a new vision for their lives, because up to
100%.
that point, that's what they envision, depending obviously what the causes are, right? Because I also agree that it's a process, it's not something that happens overnight.
No.
But intuitively, I think people do feel that there's things happening. So it almost feels like whatever vision for your life that you had within that relationship, you almost have to now draw a new purpose for
Absolutely.
what you want to create now. And it feels like the work that you do with women in this case is so important, because you do need someone to hold the space for you
Right.
to navigate those areas and those goals, and kind of tap inside of you all the things that you already have inside. But
Yeah.
because you maybe haven't had to kind of look at your life in that lens, you didn't know that those things existed, or rekindle passions, hobbies, things that maybe us as women probably put on the back burner
Absolutely.
because we're always serving others, and
I have
we had a different purpose, right? So
a
our
hundred,
purpose changes.
100%. And, again, I specifically, my focus is on women who are, they're older. They're not 20 something. They're not even 30 something, over 40, some, close to 50. Actually, a lot of women are married 30 years, and whether it be their decision or their husband's decision, no matter what, it's a painful journey. And I personally, I sugarcoat nothing. I tell them to hang on, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. You know, I know, there's a lot of people that amicable divorces, and until you start dealing with separating finances and the monies and the properties, and attitudes change so quickly.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When you start setting some boundaries, you really could see what's happening in your environment, because,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, you're changing the dynamic there, right? So,
Absolutely. And I totally transparent. I feared the future. I was terrified. And it wasn't even a financial fear. It was just, I'm on my own. Am I going to be alone forever?
big
Am
one.
I what does my future look like? I still had a teenage daughter at home, but she's teenager. She's not going to be gone, around for long. Like, what does my future look like? Um, Took me a minute to find my purpose. Um, but, I've learned to believe that you are where you're supposed to be for a reason. And this was the path that I was set to be on. But, the other thing is, I was co author in a book called Transforming Pain into Purpose. And when I was approached to submit a chapter, I thought, this is exactly what I did. This is exactly what happened because like anything in life, when something happens to you, it's so natural to say, why me? Why this? Why? And so that now one day I realized, well, this is why. This is why I've got a voice, and I'm going to share my knowledge with women that you don't have to take this journey alone. I was actually just signed a client yesterday, and she said, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a divorce coach. And I said, I divorced 8 years ago. I'm like, neither did I. And I sure wish I had.
Yeah, the education now that there is people like yourself guiding people through the process is so empowering, because that's exactly what I want to ask you, Nanette. Because even though it's not a personal experience of mine, I know many people that have gone through divorce, and that is a big fear for a lot of people, being alone,
Yeah.
right? Trying to figure out all this stuff on my own. And
Yeah.
we don't always have the confidence because we haven't been through that. Maybe in many ways, we, with our partners, we co-create things are easier, right? Like, you
Of course.
handle that, I handle this. So if I didn't handle something for a while because maybe they handled it, now when I'm kind of like on my own, I'm like, wait, can I even do this? So you start getting so much self-doubt
Of
and
course.
fear around, like, now I am alone, I have to figure it out on my own, so that the brain goes to survival mode, and all those fears trigger. So what is some advice, practical advice, then, that you can give someone that is maybe feeling that?
When you started, when you started talking about that, my first thought was, you have to stop and you have to pause and you have to realize that you can't plow through this. You're not going to get through the storm in a day. You have to take it truly, the old adage, 1 minute, 1 hour, one day at a time, one step at a time. And each day, set a goal for yourself. Say, okay, today I'm going to do this. I actually created a journal for women because journaling for me was very daunting to look at empty pages. So now you address your emotions. You start like, what are you feeling this morning? How did this afternoon look like? It's the evening, today was a tough day. Tomorrow will be a better day. You have to allow yourself grace that each day will be different. You'll feel great one day, not so great the next. But the most important part is, if you have one day where you're feeling just no ambition, that's okay. Address it. Then the next day, just get up and start your day differently. Positive affirmations. I like to tell women to get to know that woman that looks back at you in the mirror every morning. Fall in love with her again, or maybe for the first time. Really get to know, enjoy being by yourself. I know personally, I was never alone. I went from my parents' home to my marital home, raised 3 children. I was never alone. Yeah, it took some adjustment. And now I I I adore my time alone. It's truly a process. Take a new class. Sign up for something that you never thought you would do before, or maybe something that you've always wanted to do. Pick
Yeah.
up old traditions. Maybe you were a hiker, a cyclist, an artist. Be creative and try to learn to be fearless, because what I've learned about myself is I'm more courageous, inspired, empowered than I truly ever thought I could be. And unfortunately, I don't think that would have ever happened had I not been through what I went through,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Absolutely. Like, new space is created, like things shift, right? So you get to open up to a whole new world that maybe you just didn't see before, because your focus was on intention, the power of intention. Your
absolutely.
intention was on other things.
Yeah.
I could definitely hear that for sure. And I think that's another fear, of learning to be by yourself with yourself, because
Mhm.
I could share the same thing as you shared. Most of us are, depending on our life journey, we're always around other people.
Mhm.
So kind of the fear of reintroducing yourself to yourself is a
Mhm.
big one for many people, because that's
Mhm.
where the inner work comes into play. But I
Absolutely.
love that you said it's a process. Be patient with yourself. It's a
Yeah.
step by step healing journey
Yeah.
back to yourself, really, at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
So
And
this should be the
one thing
catalyst.
I like to tell women is, actually, I like to tell anyone, healing's an active process. It doesn't just magically happen. You really do have to work on it every day. And it's not 24/7, but just, even if you can wake up in the morning and find gratitude with whatever is ahead of you that day, there's always something to be grateful for. As much as you're feeling maybe sorry for yourself, or feeling like the victim, or feeling just miserable, if you really pause for a moment, there's always something to be grateful for.
Absolutely. And what about advice for entrepreneurs? So we have an audience of entrepreneurs. If they have a business, what have you learned in the process that could help them navigate the finances in this area as well? Because
Yeah,
let's face it, a lot of times growing a business, it's pretty unsteady,
it is
right?
unsteady.
Depending on what your phase and stage of life or business growth you are in, right? So I've seen it all. So we all know that, depending on where they are, can be a steady. So that could step into the fear of, I don't know if I'm going to have steady income with what I'm doing. So
Right.
what would be your advice for women entrepreneurs going through?
I think for a woman entrepreneur, number one, never say never. Don't don't second guess yourself. If you feel like this is something that you want to do and can do, um, just take the steps moving forward to do it. And also, never be afraid to ask for help, advice, um, guidance. I know that the financial part of it is sometimes a struggle, but um, yeah, you sometimes just have to take that first leap off the edge, and have faith in yourself that you're going to make it work. Is it easy? No. I've spent, uh, I mean, again, totally transparent. I'm going to be 58 years old this year. And the amount of technology that I've taught myself in the last year, it blows my mind sometimes, because I was diligent. I was like, I am not turning back. I'm going to keep moving forward, because you can't stop just because of one hiccup. Um, it's perseverance. And, as far as the finances go, personally, I just now, I'm able to offer my clients financing. So, maybe you find a coach, or, a business mentor who will help you that way. Um, but don't be afraid to ask for things, truly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as you were saying that, just reminds me sometimes these situations in our lives just kind of like push us, motivate us even more to grow our business or to make things happen, because we're like, okay, it's up to me. If it's gonna be, it's up to me. So you figure out all the gaps that you haven't figured out to get you to the ultimate goal that you're looking to do. And when you look back, you could see that, wait a minute, I'm so capable. Like all these things a year ago were like a mystery. Now it's
Absolutely.
like, whoa, I have pieced it together step by
Yes.
step. Whether you do that, or I mean, I think there's still a lot of piecing happening, even if you hire mentors, right? Because you still have
Oh,
to go through your own
abs-
process. But
absolutely.
it's just the framework is easier. You understand it, you
Right.
do it faster, you have the support. There's so much benefits
Yeah.
to that. But I think your own personal journey is still going to be there, because you're supposed to grow through that, right? No one
Of
can
course.
hand
Of
you a
course.
silver plate and just
Yes.
be like, here, I'm going to save you all the emotions uh,
Yeah.
by hiring me to help you navigate this area, whatever result we really want to serve others with our business. So
Right.
I think it's really, really powerful that you said that there. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I drew out from your story, that it just became the power that you needed, the motivation you needed, and the inspiration you needed to keep moving forward, to stay diligent, stay disciplined, and be in faith is a very spiritual thing that I think in moments of uncertainty is when we really discover that, wait a minute, there's an outside thing, there's something bigger than us always
Yes. Yeah.
holding space and guiding us, even though we don't always see it, feel it, hear it, because we might be in our day-to-day fear-based brain as human beings.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I tell I've pegged it as your SEP strength, your spiritual, emotional, and your physical strength, because we really need all three to get through any journey in life, whether it be raising a family or having a business or any trauma in life. We need it, and we have to stay healthy in our
Hard,
minds.
any hard thing, anything that pushes out our comforts out us outside our comfort zone will require all these things. So you see it repeated just in whatever new thing that we're trying to take on
Absolutely,
as
absolutely.
we
Oh,
evolve as humans.
being that's the other thing when you're starting a business or starting a new adventure on your own. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. 100% you're going to have to. And I did when 3 years ago, when I had struggled with just even recording a video of myself speaking in
Mm.
order to share it with a group in a class. And oh my gosh, it took everything out of me to like to do
It's so
that.
great.
Yeah, yeah. And now, I just it's a lot easier now, and it just keeps getting easier. So the more you do it, the easier it does get.
That's the good news, that we can learn anything, and with enough practice and repetition, things just get
Absolutely.
easier, right? So that's the good part.
Absolutely.
And now I can just feel it. If it's something new, it's scary. I'm like, this will go away in a little bit. I'll just keep doing it, keep showing up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing with women as we get older, um, we feel like it's like our time is coming to an end, where we're just starting. There's a quote that I've just recently heard, and it's for life really does begin at 40. Until then, you're just doing research. The
Yeah.
world just opens up. One of a lady that Barbara Marks Hubbard, she was teaching in one of these Mind Valley quests, and she was this sweet little lady. She must have been 80 years old when I heard her speak. And she actually inspired me, because she said, women don't really come into their own and really start making a difference until in their 40s, 50s, 60s. That was just like what I needed to hear that day, because I thought, that's who I am. I'm 50 something, and this is during COVID too, where everybody was feeling down on themselves. I thought, this is so inspiring. And from there, I just kind of catapulted forward.
Mm. Well, let that be a final message. I think it's so empowering. And I feel the same, because we gather experience. The more life experience, the more, the wiser we become, the more we have to share, the more we watch our own authentic path, the more we know who to surround ourselves with, who to not. We've kind of
Mhm.
learned a lot of the things that maybe were not even taught to us early on or whatever. So I
Right.
think the process of evolvement is amazing, and we can only stack on the decades of wisdom.
Absolutely.
So it just feels like so natural that we can just add more value because we have
Absolutely.
so much more life experience. So
Absolutely.
I also love looking at it that way, and I definitely believe it. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm always like learning, growing, like making your own personal growth actually
Yes.
as your very important value. It's
Yes.
just always going to serve you, because you just have more to share, more to serve, more to add value with, because now this is all coming from your life experience. So there's nothing more authentic than that,
Right.
because only you have been through that experience, and only you could share it the way you share it from
Absolutely.
your
Absolutely.
perspective. So
Yeah.
very,
Yes.
very powerful. Nanette, thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation. We could keep going, we just,
We could.
but we'll
We
end it here. I would
could. We
love
could.
to ask you, where is it that people can further continue the conversation with you and find more about your work?
Well, my website is livelifenowwithpurpose.com. I also have a private Facebook group for women divorcing, and that is Women Divorcing After Decades of Marriage. on Facebook. And then, I do have a page, of divorce coaching with Nanette, on Facebook as well. And I'm always, unfortunately, my divorce group is growing. I always say, I'm happy you're here. I'm sorry you're here, but I'm happy you found us. So,
Yeah, and that there's something to that. I think it's also people are realizing that certain relationships no longer serve them and doesn't have to be a negative bad thing, you know?
right.
That's kind of how I'm
Yeah,
feeling it. And the more people now evolve and understand how to listen to their intuition and all of that, you
right.
just realize that, wait a minute, this relationship is no longer serving me. I mean, if you can invest back into it and revive,
Of
of course,
course.
right?
Of course.
Everybody's got a different situation, but
Right.
it could just be that we just have to let it go. And sometimes
If,
with women, we just hold on to stuff that no longer
yes.
serves us. So I think
Yes.
that that could be a positive thing. And
It is.
anyone-
If you, once you begin that healing process, you really can thrive afterwards.
yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it. Nanette, thank you so much for everything you shared with us. We've reached the end of our show. You guys know what to do. Share, subscribe, and share. That's how you help us also bring in more amazing experts just like Nanette. And I'll see you with another interview and another show. Bye for now. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Alimentation deutsche Emissionen